Okay, so on with our buyer series. This is Susan Milner with Florida Future Realty, and we are going to talk about the home inspection. So we've already went through the first steps of the process. You got your pre-approval and you fixed credit if you needed to. Then you found the real estate agent you wanted to work with. You went out and you saw the homes. You put in offers, you negotiated, you got a contract, you got docs back to your lender, and now you're scheduled this home inspection. And I just want to talk about some things that could come up on a home inspection, some things to know about before you pick your home inspector. So the first thing is your real estate agent can probably recommend, a few different home inspectors to you that they know that they've worked within the area that are very thorough home inspectors. So if they give you recommendations, call those recommendations. If they don't give you recommendations, then ask friends and family that have recently used one, or you can go online and search. However, I do suggest that you talk to the home inspector first, just to make sure they sound competent, unless it's a referral from your agent or a referral from a friend or family member that you trust. They're probably not going to steer you wrong. So the home inspector's job is to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the house that you wouldn't have known about just from looking at it. So if you went in the house and you can see like there was a leak here, or there's a hole here, or the carpet's dirty here, like things like that, they're not really, it's going to be on the report, but that's really not their job. Like nothing cosmetic is ever their job, like as far as like the paint's hot pink and the wallpaper's got to come down and those kind of things. Like the inspector doesn't care. But what the inspector is going to look for are defects in the property, things that don't work, things that are at the end of their life on the property. So if, say, they inspect the home and it was built 20 some years ago, and the roof would be at the end of its life. So they're going to be able to tell you if it has at least 3 years left on its life, you should be okay. If it has less than that, you might want to go ask for a new roof, because you're going to have a difficult time getting homeowners insurance on a house that old that doesn't have a roof certification. And you can only get a roof certification if there's still life left on the roof. So that's important to know. Something that was very common in the early 2000s in Cape Coral was defective drywall. The home inspector should be able to look for signs of that without you needing to get an extra home inspection, and not a home inspection, an extra report done to verify it. If you have to go get the additional report done to verify, that it has defective drywall, they cut holes different places of the house, and they take the samples of the drywall, they send them to a lab, and it costs you a couple $1,000s to get those results back. Some telltale signs an inspector's going to know what to look for. Corrosions on copper lines is one thing, on electrical outlets. Sometimes you'll see like pitting and discoloration in like plumbing fixtures, things like that. But your home inspector will be able to, tell you, there's signs of it, and then at that point you can decide if you want to go through with an actual full inspection on it, report on it, or if you want to just move on to another house because it could have it, especially if it's built in those years that there was a lot of homes built or remodeled during those years. So that's always something to keep in mind. The home inspector shouldn't try to freak you out about things. Like, you want to make sure that they're thorough and they tell you what they find or what they think, but you don't want somebody that's like, oh my God, the house is gonna fall down. That's ridiculous. Like, unless it's really falling down, which I don't think you would have even put in an offer on one that looks like it was falling down. But something else that we see a lot of in this area, we build freaking houses on sand. Okay, yeah, there's some dirt and stuff, but it's mostly sand. So there's settlement. And you'll see, like, on a sidewalk, on a driveway, on a lanai, on that concrete pad that they poured, you will see cracks. And it doesn't mean the whole house is coming down or it's going to get, in a sinkhole. It just means that it's settled, and it was sand, so it shifted differently in different areas. You can also see on the side of a home, you can see little cracks and stucco and, you know, is starting to shift there, yeah, you don't want to keep it like that. You need to fill it in, paint it, re-stucco, you know, those kind of things to maintain the house properly. But it's not the end of the world, typically speaking. Now, if you see like a whole wall shifting, yeah, that's a structural issue. You're going to need a structural engineer to let you know what's going to need to be done to secure that property. But I'm assuming you're not looking for homes like that. So, you know, they're looking for these things. They're going to let you know, does the AC work? And if it works, is it cooling as much as it should? Like, what's the differential between the degrees coming out of the vent? They want to check that. They want to show you if there's any plumbing leaks when they turn on the water. Is anything leaking? They're going to turn on appliances, make sure the appliances work. They're going to flush toilets and turn on sinks and, you know, all of these things just to see how the house is. As far as being there with the home inspector, it really just depends if you need to be there or not. If you are available to be there and your agent's available to be there, you could go there and you could just kind of sit with your agent, hang out while the inspector's doing what he's doing or she's doing what she's doing. And then at the end of the inspection, the inspector can then say, okay, here were some of the things that I found that could be issues, you know, and it might already be things that you know about, it might be new things. And then at that time, you have a minute maybe to say, okay, so you're saying there's a leak in the window. You know, is that a major thing? Do I need a new window or do I just need a caulk, or what do you think? You know, and they can probably give you a little guesstimate on, you know, it's not a big deal. It just needs some caulk, or you're going to need a new window. It's a problem. So these kind of things, and you can discuss that with the home inspector. Now, if you're not available to be at the home inspection, once they're done with their home inspection, you know, that later that evening or the next day, you should be getting a report back that's going to detail all these things, and it should have descriptions of items, pictures of items. Some home inspectors even do videos, so you can look through that and see, you know, what seems to be an issue or not. And then at that point, you can talk to your real estate agent, see if how your contract was written. Again, was it written on an as-is contract, you're buying it, or was it written on a regular contract, and the regular contract allows for up to 1.5% of the purchase price for the seller to have to make repairs. So in those cases, and it's written in a regular contract, you can go back to the seller and say, here's a list of items I want you to fix or replace or repair before I'm going to move on with closing. And then the seller will, you know, get their person out there and get it repaired for you. If you have an as-is contract, you can go back and say, hey, look, I want these things fixed, or I want a credit or something because I didn't know about these things, but they're under no obligation to do these things. And if it's like a bank-owned property or something like that, the likelihood of them doing it is slim, and they might just bust your deal and move on to find another buyer. So you know, think about that before you go and ask for something. You can ask for, you know, money off or a credit or getting something repaired, but the main objective of a home inspection is just to see, are there more issues than you're willing to take on to move forward with buying this home, the sale of the home. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Again, you want to talk to your agent and talk to the home inspector to, you know, all communicate on, are these big issues, are they little issues? Even brand new homes, we have home inspectors go in brand new homes and they find things wrong with them. So just, you know, we always encourage everyone to have a home inspection, even if the house looks beautiful and brilliant and you can tell they've maintained it. Have a home inspection. They might see something that you didn't know about that could, you know, really save you a lot of money in the future. So I will see you next week when we talk about some other things that you need to do now that it's past your home inspection.